We've already seen that the Code of Criminal Procedure gives a job description of sorts for magistrates. It does the same for peace officers. We'll discuss their general duties according to the Code of Criminal Procedure in this screencast. The first duty of a peace officer, according to the Code of Criminal Procedure, is to preserve the peace. Preserving the peace doesn't necessarily mean breaking up fights. As you are probably aware, the mere presence of a peace officer affects people's behavior. In order to preserve the peace, the Code of Criminal Procedure requires peace officers to interfere, in other words, to take action to prevent or suppress crime. A peace officer is also required to preserve the peace by executing all lawful court process. Court process includes warrants and legal writs, such as evictions. Next, to give notice to some magistrate of all offenses. This means that a peace officer is required to take action or notify a magistrate of all offenses he or she comes across. This section must be interpreted carefully, since it doesn't take into account police discretion and the impracticality of a peace officer arresting every single person whom he or she comes across. A strict interpretation of the statute would eliminate all police discretion and flood the already overloaded court system. The Code of Criminal Procedure continues to require peace officers to preserve the peace by arresting offenders without warrant, when appropriate, so they may be taken before a court and tried. Next, the CCP requires peace officers to take possession of a child under CCP Section 63.009G. This section requires officers to take specific actions upon receiving a report of a missing child, and, if the child is found, to return the child to his or her parents or guardians. Next, the CCP requires a peace officer to execute an emergency detention order issued by the Texas Civil Commitment Office. And finally, the CCP permits a peace officer to ask about a person's immigration status, if necessary to investigate the offense, or provide the victim or witness information about federal visas designed to protect individuals assisting police. This section does not prevent a peace officer from conducting a separate investigation of another offense, or inquiring into the immigration status of a victim or witness the peace officer has probable cause to believe has committed a separate criminal offense. So let's review. The Code of Criminal Procedure requires peace officers to preserve the peace, and in order to preserve the peace, they must interfere or take action to prevent or suppress crime, execute or serve all lawful court process, notify a magistrate of all offenses, arrest offenders without warrant when authorized, return a child who is missing to their parent or guardian, execute an EDO issued by the Texas Civil Commitment Office, and finally, the CCP permits a peace officer to ask about immigration status to the extent necessary to conduct a criminal investigation into an offense against the laws of Texas or provide protection to a victim or witness.